Hello and welcome back to the channel for the final video of 2024. I will be going over the 21 games that I completed in this year. So if you're new to the channel, you might not know kind of what I play. I've really been getting into indie games this year thanks to partnering with the amazing company Minimap. Minimap is just simply a place for you to sort through your gaming backlog. You can write journal entries, keep up to date with gaming news and sales. It's really just a nice gaming platform that I stumbled upon, and now I'm a writer for them. They don't sponsor me or anything. I just like to give them a shout out every now and then. But they actually provided a bunch of codes for me throughout the year. So a lot of them actually that will be on this list were given to me thanks to Minimap. So I'm just going to go through these from January to December in the way that I played them and give them a ranking of S through D. So the first game that I played in January of 2024 was a carryover from a game I got from Christmas in December of 2023, and that is Pikmin 4. Now, I played so many hours of it, I basically completed this game. I absolutely loved it. In preparation for Pikmin, I had originally gotten Pikmin 3, held off on playing it forever, played it when it was announced that 1 and 2 is getting a remake or a port over to the Switch. And so I played 3, loved it, had to get 1 and 2 to like complete the series, and then loved those, adored 2. And then just was waiting for 4 because it was already announced, so thank God. And then just immediately, I got in several games for Christmas. That was the first one that I got and just played, and I was addicted to that game for so long. This game got me out of my Switch slump. I have really bad issues of just forgetting that my Switch exists and all of the games that I have for the Switch, considering that has my most expansive library. But yes, absolutely adored Pikmin 4. It is easily S tier. Now the next one was and that is Princess Peach Showtime. Now I had never played the original Princess Peach game from the DS. I didn't even really know it existed until a few years ago when I started getting into like the DS stuff again, and starting like researching some games that I would like. And so I'm just like, oh, it's a Princess Peach game. I like Peach. Let's give it a try. Let's hope it's better than the first one because I read some of the comments for it. And so I was keeping up with like the teasers and everything. It looked cool. It looked fun. Put on in a play. She has like her own like set of skills, like separate her from all the other characters. I'm just like, this is a good premise. If they execute it well, it'll be good. And then I ended up getting it. I got it on launch. I remember it was on my lunch break even, not even after work. I went on my lunch break to the local GameStop when I was working remotely one day and picked it up and then came home and started playing it because I'm just like, I want to give it a try. I'm excited because there was like, I was in a gaming slump then. Don't ask me, like, you'll figure it out soon. And so I pick it up and I start playing it, and the first thing I notice is, oh my god, these load screens. They take forever. In that, and like the dialogue, you can't skip or fast forward, and if you go back through a level, you gotta go through everything. It's like, this feels like it doesn't have the Nintendo polish on it, so that was a bit disappointing. And just everything, I thought that the content itself was good. I liked the abilities, I thought they were cute, I liked the challenges. That part was all good. It was just the execution of the content that I have the problem with, and I think a lot of other people have a problem with. I don't even really have an issue with like the lack of difficulty. I thought that was fine. I know a lot of people were upset about that, but I actually thought it was fine because this is geared towards a slightly younger audience than a 25-year-old girl, so I'm fine with that. It was quite refreshing. I just had a relaxing stroll through the levels, and that was me. But didn't love it. There was a lot of issues I had with it. I had no desire to go back and even try to complete it, try and get the like collectibles that I had missed. I was good without doing that. So I put this in B. It's okay. If I had a niece, I would give it to them. None of my nephews seem like the type to be into these types of games, so I look out with that. Okay, next is the only game that I dropped in the year of 2024, and that is Okami. I am actually really sad that I dropped 𝕬𝕬𝕣. In my video, I was like trying to praise it as much as I could because it definitely feels like it was a me thing, and I am 100% sure I'm going to give the 𝕬𝕬𝕣 series another chance whenever the sequel comes out. I was actually super excited to see that at the Game Awards. I can give it another chance. But the main issue was not even that it was overhyped. My roommate had said, you play as like this white wolf and you go and you do all these things with it and there's puzzles and stuff. He's like, I think you'll love it. I'm just like, that sounds really cool. I think I'll love it too. So I snagged it on sale. What did I even play this on? I played it on Switch, right? So I was like sitting down here where I work. I was sitting upstairs playing it. And the first 10 hours, I actually very much enjoyed. I thought it was fun. The combat got slightly repetitive, but I'm just like, that's okay. It's only a minor part of the game. I'm more focused on the puzzles and the story. And I got to like this dragon fight that I thought, I'm just like, oh my god, this seems like the end. Isn't this the monster that we've been searching for? Like this feels like a natural end. This feels great. And then the game kept going after. And so I'm just like, oh my god, where am I in the game? So I finally looked up how long to beat, because I don't like to fully go into games expecting how long. I like to know this is a long game, this is a short game, but that's about it. Because that could make me rush through it if it's longer or something. So I try and avoid that. I was only halfway through the game. I was already having trouble with the puzzles. I was already like kind of falling off pretty hard of the game. And so I decided to just drop the game and leave myself with good memories of Okami instead of memories of me forcing myself to play until credits and then just ruining my memories with it. So I put it in D for dropped. It's the only game that is in that category. D for dropped because I didn't complete it, so I don't feel comfortable giving it a full actual grade. So I'm so sorry, Okami. I'll try better with your sequel. Okay, now we're on to Bayonetta 1. So I got Bayonetta 1 and 2 physical from my mom for Christmas, like 2023, I think. And so I decided I'm going to play Bayonetta 1, finally. I'm very much someone who, if it's possible, I like to go and play the first game in the series or as early as I can on consoles that I have. It's not like I have a GameCube or anything to go back and play like originals if it's like a really old franchise, but I try my best. And so because the Bayonetta series is decently easy to get on the Switch, I wanted to start with 1. So I immediately, like 10 minutes in, get myself lost and I get completely confused and I don't know how to progress. And so I put it down. And then I have to come back to it like a few weeks later and completely restart it. I'm just like, I obviously missed something, so let's just restart it. Let's not bother with trying to figure out where I was. And so then I finally figure out that I just simply overlooked a key to get through a door, blah, blah, blah. I get to playing it, and I knew that this game was going to be hard coming in. I knew that that was like a big thing. It was like really challenging. I'm just like, I'm up for the challenge. I watched my roommate play it when we were rooming together in college. Like, I knew that the challenge was kind of up there for some of them. It's fine. I can learn combos, right? I got stuck so many times. This game took me, it was like 3 months. Like, breaking it up over 3 months to finally roll credits and, like, get to the end. It was so hard, but it was also very rewarding. Whenever I would defeat a boss, it was like one of those. There was one boss, it literally took me 3 hours, I think 3.5 hours to finally defeat. I was so ecstatic whenever that happened. I'm just like, oh my god, I've finally done it. I proved to myself I have the patience, because a lot of it was just, I just didn't have the patience to wait. That's my problem with a lot of games. But this game put me in such a hard gaming slump through most of February. I don't think I picked up a single game in the month of February because of Bayonetta 1. So it's still good. It still gets an S rank because it was a very, very good game. But this game put me in a gaming slump for an entire month. And that's when I had picked up Princess Peach Showtime because I'm just like, this is cute. I'll try and get out of my gaming slump with this. It's completely different. Maybe I just need to mix it up a bit. Okay, next is the first game that I got from Minimap. This is hitting May now, I guess, because that's when I first started partnering with Minimap. So this was 𝕬𝕬𝕬𝕬, and it was actually a game that I have been looking forward to and wanted to get on my own. And so when my contact through Minimap offered, hey, do you want this code for this game? Review it. I'm just like, obviously, yes. And so 𝕬𝕬𝕬𝕬's adorable Paper Mario aesthetic, like your little people are paper and you're in like this, I call it like a sandbox, like diorama type thing for your environment, and like some of the animals are paper too. It's really, really neat. It's very, if you want to get into D&D or you like D&D and want a lighter version than a full campaign, this game is perfect. You play one of like a class. You can pick whatever class you want. I like the little chef guy with the pan. I liked him. I played him for most of it, but like scroll through all of them because they have different stat modifiers just like D&D, and it's very, very cute, very, very chill. You can play multiplayer with up to 4 people and have a full party, and the main concept of the game revolves around this time-eating dragon, and you have a certain amount of steps that you can go on this like board game almost, and once you reach your steps allotted, it moves on with the day. You have a week to get through any missions that you have active, and at the end of the week, the dragon comes and eats all of the items that you've obtained, and you can only keep one of them. Obviously, if you have a party of, say, 2, 4, you can keep as many items per people. Each person gets to keep one, which is quite nice. If you're playing multiplayer, you get to kind of save a few things that you might need. But overall, very, very fun game. I really loved it. Where did I put this guy? Okay, yeah, it's an S. Very much enjoyed it. I played it solo for myself because that's how I just play all of my games. But some other creators from Minimap also got the game, so we are planning on trying to play a co-op run. Just the end of the year gets very busy, so we're pushing that off until 2025. But definitely S tier if you like D&D. I highly recommend snagging this game or at least putting it on your wish list. Very, very fun. Oh my god, I just realized that the next few are also just all like Minimap codes. And the next one is Cowboy 3030. And so I had never heard of this game. It was given to me through Minimap. She's like, here, please review this for us. I'm just like, okay, it's a cowboy shooter? Okay, I'll give it a shot. And it was actually incredibly fun. Like, I wasn't sure how much I would like it going in, but I'm just like, wait, this is actually very, very fun. You get to pick your cowboy, and it's kind of like a roguelite. I can't remember if you get stuff that carries over. I think you do. But you go through and you have different cowboys that have different guns and abilities, and you can upgrade your guns throughout the different like rooms depending on where you go. There's mini bosses, there's different biomes, there's just a lot of stuff into this game. And at the time that I had played and reviewed it, it wasn't even like fully done. It was still in like an early access type phase, and even then it felt pretty fleshed out. Like, I thought that the graphics were good, I thought that the combat felt smooth, the abilities were nice. I really actually very much enjoyed the game, more than I thought. I kind of got addicted to it the first few nights and was like determined to see how far a run went. And like the first night playing it, I had a really good run and I actually finished it. I'm just like, oh wait, this is really cool. Now I get to try it with a new cowboy. So I ended up giving this an A. I thought it was really solid. I very much enjoyed it. And then we have Questmaster. This is another one that I had found through one of the gaming YouTubers that I watched. They went to one of the PAX conventions, and the creators of Questmaster were there, and they showed some footage of it, and they're just like, oh my god, it's kind of like old school Zelda. It's like a Zelda maker. Like, it's awesome. And like, I was just like, that seems really fun. I want to keep an eye out on that. And then so I snagged that as soon as Minimap had that up for grabs. And I explored it, and it was still, it was also in early kind of access. So you could do the room maker, which I'm awful at, but I did it to see like what all they have in it. And I did that first, and there were so many. You have monsters, you have tiles, you have room types, you have like chests that you can put keys and drops in. You can put drops in the monsters. There's a lot of stuff that I was not expecting in such an early build of the game. It seems completely fleshed out, and I feel like for the most part, the main thing that they were waiting on is they had a solo campaign prepared, and it wasn't in yet, and I feel like that was the main thing that was like holding it back from being full access or full release, because everything about the building and the playing felt really great. It felt really polished already. I actually really loved playing through other people's games. A lot of them were like copies of old school Zelda like rooms and dungeons. There was like, they already had like the tagging system in like Mario Maker, so that was super nice. And there was just a lot of really creative people in that game already, even so early on. And so it was very, very fun. I actually need to go back and see if they've released the solo campaign yet, because I really want to go through and do that. Because it was like the main thing that I was like really interested in. It's like, that seems super fun. And then I can also go and play a bunch of other people's levels. Very, very fun. I ended up also giving this an A because it was super fun, and I think it has like a lot of potential to be like a really popular game. I need Zelda fans to like talk about this game a lot, please. It's really, really good. Okay, next is Punch Club 2 Fast Forward. This was another one from Minimap, and so I had no idea what I was getting into. I'm just like, okay, I don't know what this game is. I've never heard of it. I never heard of the original, but let's get into it. And it was actually incredible. It had a great story. Everything was fun. So you play as a man who, he's like early 20s. He's been basically kept inside his house his entire life by his mother. Was told his father was dead. Turns out his father's not dead. He was like the best fighter in the entire town in like this fighting club that goes on underground. My camera's gonna die. So after learning about your father's kind of legacy and that he is very much probably still alive, you venture out of your house for the first time in your 20-something years of life and have to basically make a bunch of decisions that change the story, and you have to use your time wisely to accomplish certain things to get skill points. And so there's like 3 different like main skills that you can build into, and so each of them has different places that you can work at specific times of the day. You get to choose different routes for like, do you want to work at this old gym that has this old like way of doing it? It's like you gotta physically go in and like lift heavy things, instead of the new gym that you go to that's like neurotransmitters help you work out. And it's very interesting, very dystopian type setting. It's like dark but filled with humor. Like, I know I didn't get all of the jokes. I know some of them probably went over my head, but if you are like familiar with like older like media, I'm sure that you can catch most of the jokes, and they're actually very, very funny. But it's a lot of, you have to choose what to do with your time. You have to choose the route that you're going to. You have to make sure that you're hitting all of these jobs that you're supposed to be doing, or else you get in trouble and you get penalized. And it is actually a very incredible story. The main goal is climbing the ranks in different fight clubs to try and get more information on your missing father, and like your main goal is to just find your dad. But the amount of humor and like comedy and everything and storytelling, world building that goes into it is actually very, very incredible. I highly recommend both the base game and the DLC, and I also recommend download and play the DLC at the same time as you're playing like the base game. You'll get kind of busy during like the mid to late part of your game, but you're not forced to do the DLC. It's not going to penalize you if you don't, but I played it that way, and I feel like if you wait and play the DLC after, you're gonna be kind of lacking stimulation. You're gonna get kind of bored. So I recommend doing both at the same time. I gave this, it was a very easy S rank for this game. I actually very much loved the game, and I do recommend it for anyone who likes, I don't even know how to describe it. Comedy games, management, like time management, stories to where you have to like pick and it divides the like storyline. Any of those, I highly recommend this game. Punch Club 2. Okay, finally it's a game that I picked on my own will, and that is I went through A Little to the Left plus all of the DLC. Now, I just needed just something kind of chill. I needed to just relax for a little bit. I think this was probably around finals time for me. I'm a grad student right now, so sometimes I just need to relax a little bit. And so A Little to the Left, I'm just like, I have the base game already, and I played through a little bit. So I went through, I restarted it, and I did just all of the content. I absolutely loved the game. I thought it was great. I thought that it was like a really good, like, cozy game. I'm not huge into cozy games. I just don't have the attention span for a lot of them. But this is definitely one that I really like. I like puzzle games kind of like this. Like, you'll find another one that's a Spot the Difference. This was like a put back in your place type thing. I like puzzle games. I have since I was a kid. So that's like a big like thing in the cozy genre that will get me, is if it's a puzzle game, I might be interested. But this was very, very nice. I like the motif of you're going through different rooms in your house and you have this cat that is messing up a bunch of stuff. I got so jealous because I very much want a cat, but we can't right now. We gotta wait until we move in a few years. Maybe we can get a cat. But I very much liked this game. I thought it was great. It's DLCs, the first one, the cupboards and drawers one, was probably my favorite, and then the Seeing Stars one, it was just a lot harder, and so I had to think more. But it was also fun. But that's probably like ranking 3 out of 3. It's probably like cupboards and drawers, the base game, and then Seeing Stars. All of them are really good, and I do recommend all of them if you like these types of games and you somehow haven't played A Little to the Left. But yeah, I finally played it, and I can finally say that I've played A Little to the Left. I thought it was great, very much worth my time. I gave that, it's at the top of A. So very, very solid, highly recommend. Okay, next is another mini-map title, and that is Crypt Custodian. So I snagged this. It was a Metroidvania, which I was worried about because I don't do great with Metroidvanias. I tend to get lost. I tend to forget where the power-up that I get on one side is supposed to actually unlock something on the other side. I just am not, my brain is just not made for Metroidvanias. But I like them, so I want to try and get better at them. And this one actually made me feel very, very confident. I only had to Google like 2 or 3 things, but that's really good for me. So this, you play a cat who has unfortunately passed into the afterlife, and you and your trusty new broom that you found might have broken some statues, and the frog that decides if you're a good kitty and goes inside the kingdom or a bad kitty and goes outside to be a custodian for the rest of eternity. Those were the frog statues that you broke, and so they send you to the outside. So now you are forced to forever be a cat custodian outside of the castle, and you're just like, who's in the castle? I want to be in the castle. I'm a good kitty, because you were a good cat for your whole life until the statues. And so you find different spirits, and you talk to them, and you make friends with them, and one of them is actually trying to dig under the gate that separates you guys and get into the castle to get a hold of this mirror that allows you to at least see the people that you left behind in the like living world. And so that becomes your main goal. Collect a bunch of friends, figure out puzzles, defeat monsters, and get the mirror back, because like you guys deserve to see the people that you left behind too. So this game is actually, I think, very good for beginners coming into the Metroidvania genre, or people like me who like Metroidvanias in concept, but in practicality and actually playing them, you might not be great at them. I think that this is really good because I feel like it does a great job at directing you. I feel like the separation of the skill to the area, I could remember pretty well where to go, which is very good for me. And also, probably one of the best things, in the main hub in the beginning area, you can buy hints for items and pieces that you've missed that you need to progress. You can just buy like markers on your map for where they are. That was incredibly helpful. I loved that. That's also very much needed if you're trying to do a 100% run. I came super close to doing 100% in this, but I missed like a few things early on, so I would have to like go back all the way. And I'm just like, man, I like this game, but not that much. But I thought that this was a very, very solid game. Where did I put this? I put it in S. Yeah, it's like in the middle of S. There's only 6 games in S, so it's pretty good. So yeah, if you want to get into Metroidvanias or you just want like kind of a more chill one, 𝕚𝕚𝕟𝕚𝕚 is really good. I would actually very, very much recommend it. Okay, so next is 𝕚𝕚𝕟𝕚𝕚, and Minimap gave me this code around October, which is perfect because it's a very like Halloween-y game. It is a game to where it's a tile-based game and you have people corrupted by the darkness. You're trying to corrupt the people of like the light and holy side to go to your side, and you play your pawns and you try and corrupt them. You try not to get corrupted back and you just defeat stuff. It's a amazing roguelite, and there's different modes that you can do with different abilities. It's incredibly fun, but incredibly challenging. Right now, that is another one that's in early access. They'll be adding more content later on, but right now there's, I think, 3 routes, and I've come to the final boss of the 3rd route. I cannot defeat them. They are so hard. I don't know the strategy to defeat them. I've tried so many different things, but it's literally, I'm one thing away from just defeating everything, from beating all of the content currently in the game, but I just can't. But it took me a while to get used to how the game works and all of the skills and abilities that you have and how like things worked, because it's kind of like chess in a way. Like all of the monsters and different people, they have different abilities, different ranges, different like skill sets. You can also give them different skills. There's different rooms that will give them abilities, different skill sets. Maybe they can move differently, maybe they have more damage in each hit. You can also give them more, in certain rooms, speed, health, damage, like really complex. You can actually do a lot with certain abilities if you save. If you focus on, say, like your tank character and you build them up really strong, then you can probably last longer than prior to doing that. It's very much, you're going to die a lot in the beginning, but when you start leveling up your people and, well, not leveling up, but like improving your characters, your chess set of people, then you will start doing really good. It took me forever. I could like barely get to like the boss of the 1st route, and then I finally kind of figured out what I was doing, and then I kind of breezed through them, and then I had to take on the 2nd route. And keep in mind, it's kind of like Hades. Like, you don't get a break, you don't get a reset between each level. You just have to keep going. So if you can snag this game around October, I did give it an A rank. I think it's really good. People love these kind of games like in the month of October around Halloween, and I think this is a great one if you are a crybaby and don't want to play games like Outlast but you still want spooky games. I think this is really good. Okay, next is the highest ranked game from 2024 that I have played this year, and that is Hell of an Office. So this was another minimap game that they gave me, and you play as a human that has been contracted to Satan and now works in Hell's office. You have to kind of go around your office, talk to people, and eventually you have to go into the elevator. Every time you go into the elevator, you are given several different platforming levels. Your entire goal is to get to the giant fiery ring at the end of the level before the lava rises and kills you. That's it. You have some different abilities. You have a dash, you have a stapler that acts as almost a gun. You can like shoot it at any like surface underneath you, to the side of you, above you, and it like launches you. And it can also like burn through paper that you'll get to later in the game. And the skill sets, they're pretty simplistic, but if you put them together, you can like make some really good combinations. And it's incredibly fun. It was incredibly challenging. I went through this game, I think over the span of like 3 days, like in a row, because it's definitely a game that if you put it down for too long, you're going to lose that muscle memory that you have of here's my jump button, here's my dash, here's my like ground pound. You're going to lose that if you like put it down for like a month. So I'm just like, I'm going to defeat every single level in this game. And there's like 100 levels. And I will say they do a great job at shuffling around the difficulty. You're not going to get two insanely hard levels back to back, which is a godsend. You'll have a really hard level and then like some simpler levels and then a really hard level, and they break it up to where you're not going to be banging your head against a wall due to back-to-back insane levels. You might because of the level itself. Trust me, some of them are insanely hard, but the game I played on controller, if that makes any difference. And I tried to do it on keyboard and it got like really, really hard for me. And so I do recommend controller for the most part. And for the most part, if I died, it was because of me. It was because I screwed up an input, I did something wrong, because the controls are insanely responsive. So it was really good because this game, if it was one to where like the controls were wonky and I kept dying because of the controls, I would get so fed up and I wouldn't be able to finish it. But I finished it 3 days. That was basically my life. It was a long weekend and that was all I did. And I will say, I'm pretty sure that, so 1 through 30, pretty simple. I felt amazing. I was just like breezing through them. 31 through 50, pretty decent. I had some trouble. Then 50 through about 90, just like, okay, I had to do this a few times, but I can get through it. 90 to 100 took me forever. It was insanely difficult. So if you like challenging platformers, I highly recommend this. It felt incredible. It was very, very difficult. It took me 3 whole days to get through 100 levels, but absolutely incredible. It is in S rank. It is right behind Pikmin 4. Like, it is the top ranked game from 2024 that I played this year. Okay, next is Kitsune Tales, another minimap code to me. And this, I didn't read it. I thought it was just a platformer to where you play as a kitsune. It is a precision platformer. And so, yeah, the controls feel slightly wonky, but if you miss a jump, it's because, you weren't precise enough. And this also took me several days, and I had to take breaks. So you play as a kitsune girl who has finally gotten her license to go and deliver different mail packages, whatever, to the town around, and something very unfortunate happens. Her childhood best friend and her new friend from this town, the girl ended up saving her from an oni in a cave. They become friends. The childhood best friend is very jealous of the new friend, and a bunch of stuff happens, and you have to go on an adventure to kind of clear up what you pray is a misunderstanding. And you have to go through a bunch of levels, a bunch of new different things. You gotta go through a bunch of elemental bosses to kind of clear your best friend's name and figure out what's happening. And the story keeps changing, you don't even know what's happening. And it's a very good story. I very much enjoyed it. The precision platforming, especially later on towards the later worlds, drove me insane because they were incredibly difficult. One cute little thing that was included is each world has a different theme for the elemental watcher that's there, and you get a little power-up that kind of fits the theme of the world. That was very nice. But yeah, the game's gonna be longer than you think, and it's gonna be harder than you think. That's it. That's all I'm saying. If you want more, I have reviews for all of these games right now. So if you want more, I'd probably say more in my review. But I gave that, it was a high A. It was a high A. It's 3rd in the A rank. So I recommend, but it's not a game that I'm praising and saying randomly, hey, you should go play Kitsune Tales. It's very good though. If you like precision platformers, then I would say do it. If you're not a huge platformer person, don't do it. Don't do it. You're just gonna suffer. Okay, probably one of my biggest disappointments this year, the Plucky Squire. Now, if you were my friend in real life, you would know that I have been following the Plucky Squire, all of the updates for it, for at least a good 6 months before release. I would like keep my eye on it prior, and like nothing would be said, and then finally they're just like, it's coming out in a few months. I'm just like, I need to keep an eye on it. I need to know all the stuff for it. It seems amazing. I love platformers. That is my genre. That is my bread and butter. And this is a combination of 2D and 3D platforming, and it's a storybook like thing. I'm just like, this, I was so certain that this was going to be my game of the year, that this was going to be my favorite game of 2024. And it crashed and burned, frankly. There was performance issues. I got stuck multiple times due to just my game locking me out. And there was one to where like I had to literally Google to figure out how to fix the issue because just reloading my save wasn't working. And I didn't know how. And it's just like literally I could not progress because the camera would zoom in somewhere entirely different. And into trying to fix that issue, I found out that people on every single platform that this game was on was having similar issues, but at different spots. So this game was just riddled with bugs, and it didn't feel as fleshed out as I thought it would be, and I just was very, very like let down with this game. I was so sad when I played this because I really, really thought I was gonna love this game, but I didn't, and that's okay. We're gonna move on. This game, I put it in B. It has some strong like bones. I would not recommend this game though. I would not recommend this game to people. I feel like there's better platformers. I would recommend A Hat in Time, Penny's Big Breakaway, like several others. And that makes me sad because I really wanted to love this game, but it's in B. Okay, next is the only like, oh my god, it could be a retro game now, but Yoshi's Island DS. So I've been severely slacking on, this was supposed to be like, I'm getting back into my DS era, and I'm getting into my Steam era this year instead. And Yoshi's Island DS is the only DS game that I have played. I have New Leaf like literally in the DS to start because I've never played it, but where is it? It's actually up here. I've yet to actually open up the DS to start New Leaf. I don't know why. I think I'm just like worried to like mess up my island, even though that's literally impossible. But I have that. I have the first Yokai Watch game that I really want to play. I just haven't because Steam has been taking up so much of my time, and now there's actual like Switch games that I want to play, and I've been trying to finish Persona, which I'm so sad. Spoiler alert, I didn't finish Persona 5 this year, and that was my big goal, was to finish Persona 5 this year. I still have, I think, like 3 palaces to finish, so it's not getting finished this year because I'm literally recording this on New Year's Eve, and this is going up on New Year's Eve. So I'm moving the goal to 2025, Persona 5 in 2025, yeah, but I need to finish that because I do one JRPG at a time. I have one active JRPG, and I have that. I'm halfway through Dragon Quest XI. My friends got me 3 Reload for Persona to play, and Metaphor ReFantazio is out. I'm so behind, and also I have Yakuza games, but for some reason those are different because I have half the games on Steam, including the first one, but also half are on PlayStation, half are on PS4. So I need to like get my shit together. That's not even on here, and I'm so sad. I don't know. Back to the games. So anyway, Yoshi's Island DS. So I played that. I love Yoshi. If you could see around my room, you would see that I love Yoshi. I needed to play Yoshi's Island. Like I need to play it. I also have Woolly World, the DS game. I'm not going to do Crafted World, the Switch one, because unless I can get it for like $5, I can't do the Switch tax on it. I am a broke college student. I can't do that. But yeah, so I played through it. It was so much harder than I thought. I thought this was gonna be a cute little game to where Yoshi takes baby Mario to wherever he needs to be. And I was very wrong, especially in the last world. This game, so for my DS games, I kind of put them in the slot to where in the evening I would play like an hour or so of them when I didn't want to play anything on my desktop. And so I would do that and I would get through like 2 levels in an hour. And it was moving so much slower than I originally anticipated when I started the game. And it took me a very, very long time. Granted, it was like not a primary game I was playing, but it took me forever. And especially the last like 2 or 3 worlds, especially the last one, was so difficult. It took me forever. It took so much time, so much patience. I was not expecting that from Yoshi, but I completed it. I completed Yoshi. We're good. We're done. Where even is Yoshi? I gave it a B. Give it a B because it kind of drove me insane, but I'm very, very happy that I did play it. I can now say I've played Yoshi's Island DS. Yep, we're done, and that is the only DS game on this list. Okay, the next is another minimap game, Skim. Skim is actually a game that I've been following. I thought that this game came out years ago, actually, and then all of a sudden I'm being told, oh yeah, recent game, just came out, do you want to review it? I'm just like, of course. I've actually been trying to follow this game for a while, and yeah, it was very interesting. It was not what I thought it was. It was more story driven than I expected. So you get separated from your human after a very tragic job loss, and the entire goal of the game is to reunite with your human. So you have to use other object shadows to get down like long streets, different buildings, and you keep getting so close to your human and they vanish. You barely miss them. And so I was starting to get kind of bored with the concept towards the very end, because like you just have like a jump and like certain objects you can use to like fling yourself somewhere, stuff like that. Some of the stuff is interactive, but they don't really advance any of the controls after that. And so I want to say this was like 10 hours or something. It's on the shorter side. It's a game you can knock out in a weekend or something. And I like the story. The story was really good. You get to see like a nice happy ending for your human. You get reunited. But yeah, that's really it. I would recommend this game if it's on sale. I'm not sure how much it is full price, but like if you can snag it for like $10 or something, I think it's a nice game to play over the weekend. It's kind of like in the middle of A right now. But yeah, I would recommend it. I think it's still a good platformer game, but it's not gonna like make your month or anything. It's gonna be like I played this over the weekend and I enjoyed it. Okay, we're getting towards the end. Some of these are demos, so they're gonna go fast. So I was given a code for the demo of Starvaders. It is a deck building tile-based game to where you choose your mech captain and you use the mech to fight alien invaders coming down, and you have to have cards for if you're moving or like fighting them or like all of this stuff. The demo didn't have a whole lot of content, but what it did have was incredibly polished. I loved the color palette, I loved the art style. I really liked the first mech that you can get. It is like a distance one, and there's also one that fights close range with a katana. I was really bad at that one, but yeah, I think this can be really cool. There's, I think, more captains that you can unlock when the full version comes out, and you can build up your deck with different cards, and it's really one of those to where you can customize your deck to best fit your playstyle. And I think that can be like really fun, and I'm actually very much looking forward to the full release. I think it's gonna be like a nice game to like play in the evening or something. And this is also another I think it's considered a roguelite since you can upgrade, but it's in A. I thought it was a very solid release. I'm looking forward to the full release, so I think it deserves A. I think if you like like deck builders of any kind, this is definitely a game to wishlist and kind of check out. Okay, another one. This actually, the dev reached out to me via email and asked if I wanted to review like a beta of his game, and that is 𝕬𝕬𝕬𝕬. So this is a like throwback to old school like pixel like chibi dungeon crawlers, and you can build up your team with 4 people of like so many different classes. Like there's like so many. For some reason I want to say like 200, and you can like customize each member of your party, and they all have unique abilities. There's items to help you along the way, and there's like 20 dungeons like right now or something, and there's gonna be more, and there's gonna be like just so much more content added in. And if you like the old school like dungeon crawlers to where like you can't really see anything and you just go around and it like fills out the boxes and stuff, this is definitely a game for you. It focuses on gameplay, really solid. Like I thought the designs were good. It did get put in C because it's just not my style, but I think people that played old school dungeon crawlers like in their childhood and stuff would very much appreciate it. Next one is 𝕬𝕬𝕬𝕬. This was another code, and basically it's a survival like town building game, but the main thing that makes it stand out is you get these things called Grammys, and you have one that travels with you, and you get a bunch of city ones that as you progress like your world level and stuff, do tasks, you gain more of them. And the cool thing about all of these guys is you can program them, like code them. And so there's several pre-made codes that you can just like insert, and like it has like plug and play type things to where you can just be like, I need you to cook the meat in this thing and then put it in this chest. Very, very nice. And you can make your own too. And the use of the pre-made codes actually were incredibly helpful. Me and Amy from the Nerd House podcast, I dragged her in. I played like 10 hours of it solo. I'm just like, I need someone to play with me. And so I dragged her in, and we actually used the pre-made code as a base to figure out how to get our Grammys to fish, and then put the fish that they caught into a chest. And so that was very neat. But you can just like, you can do different things. You can have them grow trees, then you can have one chop trees down, you can have one be making iron ingot or something, or like iron bars out of iron ingot. I don't know. But it was super, super fun to like have your Grammys just optimized for the most productive town. And then we would search the map. We would try and find different materials to help level up the world, and then we would try and find the bosses, then we would try and fight the bosses. I don't know. Like literally the Grammys were my favorite part. Like honestly, if I could just stay there and like mess with the Grammys, that would be fine with me. This is another one that I put in C. I think it's good, but I did fall off of it pretty fast. Amy was just like, we're kind of doing the same thing. The game loop is pretty repetitive, but the Grammys were really cool. Okay, 2 more. 𝕬𝕬𝕬𝕬𝕬, a demo that I got from Minimap. So it is 1, the sequel to Ender Lilies, and 2, has 4 areas and a handful of bosses available right now in early access. I say demo, but it's in early access. I really liked it. I think the art style, the color palettes and everything set this dystopian mood for these people that have been basically used as test subjects for their society. And they're basically outcasts in this section outside of like the main city. And I feel like the story is going to be very filled with anguish. And I feel like it's going to make me cry. Like, the first Ori game like made me feel things, and I feel like this is going to like ramp it up like several percent. But the controls were great. The controls were like really responsive. You get some abilities like right away, and you can customize which face button or bumpers. I was playing this on Steam Deck. Like which like bumpers, triggers, or face buttons that the attacks and abilities go on. So that was really cool because you weren't like stuck with a predetermined thing, because some of them that they like automatically went on, I didn't really like the configuration, so I could just switch them. And you gain more with defeating the small handful. I think there was like 3 or 4 bosses in there. And after you defeated them, you would get some ability kind of tied to them. And that was really cool because it felt like natural progression. And the bosses were actually quite hard. The last one that I was able to fight in the early access build, took me a few days of coming back, trying, failing, leaving. It was very, very interesting. By the end, I like knew every single attack that they had. Oh my god, am I gonna run out of time again? Jesus. Like by the end, when I finally was able to defeat him, I knew like every single attack pattern. I knew when he was gonna do what move. Like I just studied this dude so intensely. And so when I was finally done, I was like so thrilled. I was so ready to move on and like explore the rest of this. And then I realized that that was like the end of where I could go. And so I just went through, made sure, because I didn't want to like miss anything. I like cleared everything in like all of the areas. And yeah, I couldn't do anything more. So I was like, oh, I guess I'm done. Okay. But I really enjoyed what was presented in the early build. I think that it's going to be a very good game. A lot of people were saying that it was going to be even better than Ender Lilies. I haven't been able to play Ender Lilies, so I kind of want to go back and play Ender Lilies before the full build of this comes out. I think it comes out, full build is like January 23rd. So my review for this game is going to be out in January, and it's going to be like a week or so before the full release. I did put this in A because I thought this was very solid, and I think that the full game is going to be very, very good. Okay, we're finally to the last game, and that is a game I actually finished like 2 nights ago, and that is Broken Lens. So Broken Lens is an adorable indie puzzle game. It is a find the difference game. You are a little robot, and you are on this planet. It's a very weird planet. There's a bunch of frogs. There's like rock people. Like there's other robots like you, but they're like broken. And so you have a break over one of your like eyeglasses, and so you see things slightly differently. So you have to go through, and each level there's 10 differences in one piece of paper, and if you find all of them in all of the levels, you like 100%, you like over 100% the level. I got like 115% or something on one. But if you find 5 differences, you can progress to the next level. You don't need to find all 10. And if you find the paper, it gets added to this journal that you have, and it slowly begins to tell the tale of what's happening in this planet, like what's happened to make it the way it is now, because like something feels like really off about the planet. But you slowly unlock the story, and so there's 5 biomes that you can explore. There's 10 levels per biome, giving you 100 differences to find per biome. If you add them all up, 500 differences to find per biome. And if you do all of them, I'm pretty sure it unlocks this 6th golden biome. I gave up trying to find all of them. I did a casual run and didn't find all of them. Maybe one day I'll go back and find all the differences. But the difficulty in this little puzzle game ramps up. The first level is like, or the first biome even, I was like, okay, I'm finding these differences pretty good. I can find like all of them. I like found all of the differences in the first 2, and then by the end it was so subtle. You had to like zoom in to find some of these differences. They were insanely tough. And there is a like hint system that powers up after like so many seconds after use, and it gives you a giant circle around the area that the difference is in. That is nice, but even sometimes with that on, I was struggling to find the difference. I like couldn't find it. By the end it got difficult. It was kind of like a little to the left Seeing Stars expansion. Just like, oh, okay, this is not relaxing anymore. I feel like I'm being tested. but it was still very fun. It is second in A rank right now. So yeah, that is finally all of the games. S rank went to Pikmin 4, Hell of an Office, Crypt Custodian, Punch Club 2, Bayonetta 1, and Paladins. Those were my top games of the year that I've played in 2024. I will put the entire chart here. So that is the 21 games that I was able to play and complete in 2024. Of course, there's games like Marvel Rivals, Pokemon Pocket, stuff like that never finishes, so that's not on here. But that is it. This is gonna be a long video. But yeah, let me know what some of your favorite games that you played, finished, completed, whatever, in 2024. Leave them in the comments below. I always need suggestions because it's not like my backlog is getting any smaller, so why not just add to it? But yeah, so thank you everyone who has been with this channel through 2024. It grew a lot and I could not be happier. So I hope that going into 2025, I can continue to improve on my content, and yeah, that's all I can really ask for. Thank you for everyone who watched this video. I know it's probably going to be pretty long. I do appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. If you want more of my content, give the video a like. If you want to do the extra mile, click the subscribe so you don't lose me in the sea of YouTube content. That is it. Thank you, and I hope you had a great 2024, and I hope you have an even better 2025.